In this video, I will tell you about a very special place to me, a special place that my family keeps getting back to season after season, year after year, for the last 40 plus years. Hi, my name is Alex. I make videos about Greenland, and today I'm gonna share a story with you, some beautiful scenery, and the reason why we keep on getting back to this very primitive Greenlandic cabin, basically out in the middle of nowhere, 3 hours away from civilization. Nestled 3 hours away from nearest civilization lies a cabin. Not just any cabin, our cabin. Not only is it a very primitive cabin, but even the road to get there is very difficult. During summer you have to go on the ocean by boat for roughly 1 hour. Then it's a thrilling and probably my favorite, a thrilling, fun ATV ride for another 30 minutes. After the ATV ride is over and you're finished looking at some beautiful reindeer that we also happen to find along the way, then you arrive at a freshwater lake where another boat awaits. This trip will take you about 45 minutes along the shoreline where you can spot glaciers, rugged mountains, while feeling extremely small and alone amongst breathtaking nature. Back in the old days when my family didn't have a 115 horsepower engine to propel the boat on the ocean, or an ATV plus a road to drive on, as well as a safe dinghy with a 15 horsepower engine on that, the trip took at least a full day back in the old days, involving a slow boat ride to get there, a grueling 6-hour walk through all these stones and rocks, carrying all our equipment and food for the trip, and after the grueling walk you had a 1 hour to 2 hour long boat ride on the lake in, I would say, a fairly sketchy homemade dinghy. So times are definitely easier now. Thank you for technology. And when your hand is completely numb after having held the boat engine's handlebar for 45 minutes, you arrive at a valley with a 1400 meter tall, very characteristic mountain and a small cabin. And once you get to the cabin safely, the trip there has officially been accomplished. And if you made it without any problems, you really thank the weather gods, modern technology, and your family or the group of people that you're traveling up to the cabin with. Now the adventures can officially begin right after, of course, you have tapped that little like button down below and also subscribing if you haven't already done that. Now, the cabin doesn't look like much, mostly resembling a black rock among a mushy, barren landscape, where you happen to go defecate on a wooden toilet. Great views though. You also have no privacy as there are no bedrooms and you only have enough electricity to power a few light bulbs at night. So it's very primitive, but it works. There's no phone signal either, so forget about the internet. Out here we read books or stare into the infinite. Now, once you're out here, it's just pure and quiet. Just listen. Absolutely nothing. It's just you, nature, and a small cabin. And of course, the ones you decided to come out on the trip with, which definitely also adds to the experience. Not these mosquitoes, as you can see, but when your head is filled with noise and stuff, getting out here is just absolutely amazing. I mean, look at it. The lake we're located on is 20 kilometers long, extremely deep, fed by melting glaciers, which is now drained into Sisimiut's hydropower station for clean electricity. We are unfortunately not the only ones with a cabin up here anymore, as the ATV road we were on earlier opened up the floodgates of bloodthirsty hunters. As a family, we are very sad about the exponential growth in more people around, but When stuff gets easier, usually more people start doing it. I can only imagine how it would have been to be there in the 80s. Completely untouched, definitely filled up with a lot more animals and less crowded. Even though it's not that crowded. Also, the big mountain you see in the background, which is known as Sisimiut, the legend about this mountain says that back in the days of the Inuit people, two great boat hunters had gotten into a dispute about who were the best bow and arrow shooters. So you know how bald they were back in the days. Naturally, they just spread out a reindeer skin here in the valley, out in the ground, and then the two bow hunters had to hit the reindeer skin with an arrow from the top of the mountain to prove who were the best. The person who didn't hit had to throw himself off the mountain. It's a very dramatic story, but it's true. Now, when you're seeing these images, you're probably wondering, nature, isolation and quietness is good and all, but what do you actually do once you're out here? I'm glad you asked. So let me share some of the things that we do out here in the cabin, all by ourselves. Let me tell the reasons why we keep coming back here season after season, year after year. Let's see those reasons. The reasons we go to this special place: number one, definitely the reindeer. Reindeer hunting is the main reason we come here. To stockpile the freezers with fresh, organic and moss-fed produce. Reindeer meat is simply the best, tasting kind of like elk meat, as most of you viewers are from America, and can be used for many dishes. Reindeer were important to the Inuits, and it's still a part of the culture to go reindeer hunting every year. We also go fishing in the lake. We have trouts in our lake, and it wasn't until this trip that I finally had some trout on the fishing rod. Usually we have not had that good luck with trout, but this year we got 4 trouts, one of them a big monster. After having heard a lot of podcasts about benefits of cold water exposure, I decided to take the plunge myself after a small hike. I was feeling pretty warm, there were mosquitoes, but I decided to do it. And let me tell you, it was cold. So you can also go swimming, and it looks very inviting, but let me tell you, it's extremely cold. Another great reason for us to go there is, let's not kid ourselves, we also come here to relax and unwind. Read books, get away from being online and live a little primitively, which also makes you appreciate the very modern lives we are very used to. So getting out and exposing ourselves to a little bit of uncomfort. Spending time together is a huge one. Just enjoying each other's company, as nowadays we are hardly ever gathered one place as the family is spread out all over the world. And another favorite of ours is to complain about all the new people at our lake. Drink coffee outside is also pretty nice. Just plain hygge. You can look that word up, hygge. It's a pretty cool word. Now, wasn't that a good story? Hope that you enjoyed this little sneak peek into the cabin that I have been most at during my life here in Greenland. Have you been to a lot of cabins lately? Do you own a cabin yourself? If yes, where do you have this cabin? And why do you go to this cabin? And why is it enjoyable for you to go to these relatively primitive places to live? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Okay, bye.